It was 2:47 a.m. in Seattle when I woke up, staring at the ceiling like I always do on bad nights. The rain was doing that thin, endless drizzle against the window, and the city felt emptied out. I live alone. Tiny studio, old building, bed pushed up against the wall, the safe space. I wasn't scared. I was just tired, scrolling through nothing on my phone, pretending tomorrow would be different. I set the phone down, closed my eyes, and listened to the ventilation hum. Then I heard it, a shape of sound more than a sound, close to the floorboards. A slow, steady breath, too steady to be the pipes, too close to be the hallway. I told myself it was the building settling. Everyone says that, right? Don't move. I froze so hard my ribs hurt. The word didn't come from the door or the window. It rose from under my bed, like air pushing a voice through dust. My hand slid over the nightstand for the lamp switch. It didn't turn on. I tried again. Nothing. Don't move. I can see you. The voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It landed inside my head like a thought that wasn't mine. I grabbed my phone, 2% battery. The flashlight sputtered alive and trembled in my hand. I aimed it at the wall, then the floor, the blanket edge hanging like a curtain over the dark. Hello? I don't know why I said that. No answer. Just the rain. Just my heart tripping over itself. I told myself to count to 5 before I looked. 1, 2, 3, 4. I dropped the phone. The light skittered across the floor and fell face down with a dull thud. The screen went black and came back. 1%, like it didn't want to do this either. I turned the camera on. I don't know why. Maybe to prove it later. Maybe to prove it now. I hit record and set the phone flat on the floor, lens pointed into the gap beneath the bed. On the screen I saw nothing at first, just cloth and shadow. Then a slow movement, like someone breathing, like fabric inhaling. Why did you move? The voice came from the phone speaker this time, thin and papery. My mouth dried out. I didn't answer. I couldn't. The blanket lifted, just a little, like a held breath, trying not to be seen. You weren't supposed to look. Who are you? I said, and it sounded pathetic, like a child in a museum whispering at a statue. I reached for the phone and my knuckle brushed something colder than the floor. Not a draft, not metal. Skin. Stillness, shaped like a face. I yanked my hand back. The phone's battery icon blinked red like an eye low on blood. I slid my fingers under the blanket again, this time with the flashlight tight in my fist, and lifted the edge. There were eyes. Mine. Staring back. The angle was wrong, like a mirror fallen flat, but the face was mine down to the sleep line creasing the cheek. I didn't blink. Don't move. I slammed the blanket down like I could bury the moment under fabric. My door wouldn't open. The knob turned, the latch stayed. Old buildings have a sense of humor. I pressed my forehead to the door and listened. The whisper had moved. Under me, behind me, in me. You left me here. I don't know you. That's what I said. I don't know me, him, whatever was under the bed wearing my face. I breathed. My phone buzzed on the floor. New voice memo. No caller ID. I tapped it open. The timestamp read 2:47 a.m. Exactly now. Don't move. I threw the phone onto the mattress, and it bounced toward the wall, screen glowing like an exit sign I couldn't reach. The building hummed. The rain stitched tiny hands across the glass. I realized the apartment sounded bigger than before, like the walls had taken a step back to listen. "Okay," I said, because panic runs out of language. "I'm not moving. What do you want?"
To trade.
The word landed wrong, as if it had taken a detour through a mouth that didn't know it. "Trade what?" I asked.
Your side for mine.
I laughed, because sometimes terror reaches for the nearest mask and finds humor. I trembled. "There is no your side. There's the floor and the mattress." The whisper smiled without sound. I could feel it, like a draft with teeth.
You keep leaving me here.
He said, "Keep," like this wasn't the first night, like I'd done this before and forgot. I sat on the edge of the bed and my own name felt dangerous in my mouth. I said that if you're me, say something only I'd know.
The night you slept in the bathtub because the window wouldn't stop knocking. The note you never sent. The face you practiced for the elevator.
I tasted copper. My throat closed like a fist. Those weren't secrets, they were skin. I picked up the phone again and opened the camera, switched to front-facing. My face stared back, normal, sleep-swollen, afraid. I lowered the phone to the floor again, letting the lens look under the bed. The screen showed me, a second front-facing camera, as if the phone had grown another face. My other self lay inches from the lens, eyes wide, lips barely moving.
Don't move.
Why? Why can't I move? The whisper answered with silence that sounded like breathing. I realized the heartbeat in my ears wasn't all mine. "Okay," I said. "If we trade, what happens to me?" The whisper didn't answer. The phone did. It began playing a file I hadn't touched. My voice recorded earlier tonight, whispering to someone who wasn't there.
Thank you for listening.
I stood too fast and the room sloshed sideways. The lamp finally blinked on by itself, weak, yellow, guilty. It threw a thin light that pooled under the bed like old tea. I bent down one last time, slowly, carefully. If I saw nothing, I told myself I'd call someone. If I saw myself, I didn't know what I'd do.
Don't move.
My own hand reached up through the shadow and touched my wrist. The temperature of it was wrong. Room temperature skin with winter inside. It didn't pull. It didn't grab. It just rested there, like a promise or a claim.
You left me here last time. Don't leave me again.
Last time folded the night in half. I saw flashes, other apartments, other rains, other phones dying at 2:47 a.m. I had the sick feeling of remembering a dream you keep waking up from without waking. "I can't stay," I said. "I can't live under there." The whisper breathed out a sound like cloth being smoothed over a face.
Then don't move.
The light went out. Not a flicker, a decision. In the dark, the two of us breathed, mind ragged, his steady. Somewhere, the building's old elevator sighed, cables humming like a throat clearing. My phone vibrated again. New message, no number, just a subject line, like an email pretending to be a message.
Thank you for checking.
I don't remember lying down, but I must have, because the mattress received me like a mouth. I stared at the ceiling and waited for morning, like you wait for someone to finish counting. The rain kept its promise. The hum came back, The room returned inch by inch. When dawn finally made the window gray, I got up. The door opened easily. The hallway smelled like old coffee and someone else's laundry. I stepped out and looked back into my apartment, into the little rectangle where I sleep and wait and scroll. I stepped out and looked back into my apartment, into the little rectangle where I sleep and wait and scroll. The blanket hung straight. The bed looked ordinary, undecorated by nightmares. I told myself that maybe I dreamed, that maybe I scared myself into seeing me. People do that. People make doubles of themselves when they're tired enough. Still, that night I moved the bed 2 inches away from the wall. I told myself it was for airflow.